Hello all you mech-loving cosmonauts, as always I am Cosmic, and today I finally got around to reviewing Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by EA. Titanfall 2 is a funny one for me really, because I really enjoyed the first one, although it did lack longevity for me, as it did with basically anyone, because it was dead in a matter of months. And I was really interested to see how Respawn would take on that feedback and react to that with their second game. And holy crap, did they, because it is, and I'm going to say this right now at the start of the review, a phenomenal game. It is probably one of the best first-person shooters I have played this year, without a doubt. And guess what? It's happening again. The game is probably going to die within a couple of months, but this time it isn't Respawn's fault. This time it isn't the mechanical gameplay's fault. This time it's bloody EA's fault. And why is it EA's fault? Because they decided to release Titanfall 2 right smack bang in the middle of Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And I certainly feel that Titanfall 2 is far superior to that of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1, but will Titanfall's 2 sales reflect that? No, it won't. And because Battlefield 1 has been highly successful, because there was tons and tons and tons of hype around the game because of its World War I setting, and how did that work out for everybody? Well, let me think. Alright, Battlefield 1 was exactly the same as Battlefield 4, just in a World War I setting. Was there any new mechanics? No. Was there any innovation in gameplay? No. Did it change the franchise at all? No. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, how did that pan out? Oh wait, it had a new sci-fi setting. People were really amped, thinking it was going to be a vastly superior and different gameplay experience. Was it? Not really. It was Call of Duty in a sci-fi skin, and it was pretty much an all-round disappointment. Titanfall 2, on the other hand, has surprised me in all the right ways. First was the inclusion of a single player mode. Now the single player mode campaign is not particularly long, it's 5 to 6 hours, but it's really, really good. Is it as good as everybody says it is? No, not really. I didn't think it was, the most amazing thing since sliced bread, but there are a few notable levels and missions in that campaign mode that I thought were really stand out. I thought the implementation of interesting mechanics throughout the campaign was really good. I thought the story for the most part was really good. Didn't particularly enjoy some of the voice acting, but for the most part it was a solid performance all round. So already you have a better game than Battlefield 1, because Battlefield 1's campaign was absolutely crap in every which way. Next, of course, is the multiplayer. Now this was, Titanfall, the original Titanfall was of course solely multiplayer focused, and that did not serve the game well at all. There was limited modes, it just didn't have its longevity, there was a lack of progression and customization for players. This time round it's kind of flipped. I think it retains the core essence of what Titanfall was, but adds in what should have been in the original game. So you have multiple modes, you have multiple Titans, and the Titans are fantastic. Instead of going with generic Titans this time, you have Titans that basically are all different classes. So my particular favourite is the Ronin, which is a fast-paced Titan that has a giant metal magnetized sword for nice up-and-close encounters, and that is my personal favourite. And there's all kinds of Titans, and no doubt they'll be adding more in the future. But I really like that there's specific Titans, and you can switch Titan loadouts in the middle of a match to suit how the game situation is progressing. On top of that, you have your pilot customization. Now, again, pilots, more customization options for the player. So you have multiple progression in the pilots. So as you progress, you will unlock more appearance options, you will unlock Titans, you will unlock new weapons, you will unlock boosts, which boosts are essentially have replaced the old burn card system. So this time you have boosts which you can equip into your loadout, and you can only have one boost equipped per loadout, and that will be an ability that you can use during the game that has a fairly long cooldown, so you're only really able to use a boost maybe twice, 3 times at the most during any given match. So there's certainly marked improvements across the board for Titanfall 2, and the great thing about it in terms of gameplay is the fact that you have multiple improvements. There's nothing massively innovative about Titanfall 2, but it's a step in the right direction. There's some mechanical progression in there, while retaining what made Titanfall the original a lot of fun, which is, of course, its fluid, fast-paced gameplay, its verticality, the ability to run across the map at the speed of light, shooting people, grenades going off, crazy things. They've got rid of that annoying, stupid auto-targeting weapon, which was really, really annoying for attrition matches where you have the AI bots in as well. And overall, it feels more like a solid, visceral, fast-paced first-person shooter with giant mechs available. And I think that currently in the game, there's a nice balance. With the addition of the different types of Titans and the more customizable loadouts in the pilots, I feel that for the most part, in modes like attrition and bounty, where you have a nice big map and different objectives, it tends to be not an all Titan fest. As a pilot, you are extremely powerful, extremely maneuverable, and it's easy to get around using your anti-Titan weapons and jumping on board. And there's a nice balance. It's never a case of Titans destroy all, because especially if you're like me and you chose the Ronin class, it tends to be you can't take many hits. So your job as a Ronin Titan is to get in there, get up close, deal as much damage as possible, and quickly get out of there. If you stand in a street for too long with multiple Titans shooting you, you're going to go down within 5-6 seconds. So there's a nice balance in there currently that I don't think any particular Titan is superiorly overpowered, and it ultimately comes down to a more team-focused game where if you get a good team together, you communicate, you work together to take objectives, then you are going to be fairly superior over that of a disorganized team. So overall, I think that Titanfall 2 is what I wanted from the original Titanfall. I think that it is a vastly superior game. It hits all the marks. It goes, it's made all the steps in the right direction that it needed to make. And I really do hope that this one is miles more successful than the original. The sales figures currently aren't looking like it is, which is a real shame. And again, that is down to EA because they are stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to really respect and get the most out of their own frigging video games, which is kind of important considering you're a video game publisher. FYI, that's your main job. But, and it may, what drives me mental about what EA said about Titanfall 2 is that, it was locked in. Are you saying you can't undo that? Are you saying you can't unlock the release date in? And then on top of that, they were trying to say that Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 players were looking for something vastly different, which is not the case at all. They are the same player base. They are first-person shooter players. It's not vastly different. They are looking for a first-person shooter to play, and you're bringing that out within, a week or two of Battlefield 1, especially with the sales figures of the highly successful Battlefield 1, especially for players who are on a budget, who can maybe only afford one $60 title a month. You have doomed Titanfall 2 to basically no sales comparatively to Battlefield 1, which is not only a massive shame, but you are doing your developers and your IPs a disservice, because Respawn have clearly taken on board the customer and critic feedback. They've clearly tried to strive to make the franchise a better game experience for players, and you have slapped them in the face by releasing the game 2 weeks after a massively successful game. Why would you do that in the same genre? It's a direct competitor. You saying that there's two different bases of players looking for two different experiences is not only untrue, but if you genuinely believe that, you are delusional and you don't even understand the industry that you are in. It's beyond me. It is mind-boggling why you thought that was a good idea. And what I sincerely hope for Titanfall 2, because it has been critically acclaimed across the board now, the player feedback and the critic feedback all say the exact same thing, that it is a fantastic game. And so ultimately what I hope for Respawn and for the Titanfall series is that Titanfall 2 picks up long-term a lot of sales compared to that of its competitors. I hope that word gets out and we have a Titanfall 3 in the works at some point. So that is my review of Titanfall 2. thank you so much for watching and listening. Let me know what your thoughts are on the game in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and share on social media. And as always, I will see you next time.